got a game club. Welcome to the Monday Night Coaches Show with Coach Brad LaPlante of the Hutto Hippos. I'm Todd Robinson, voice of the Hutto Hippos, and we do this every Monday night at Rio Grande. And we're sponsored by Fingerprint Ideas. Appreciate Drew Hargrove sponsoring us and doing the things that he does for the program. And again, every Monday night, except for next Monday night. Just a reminder, we won't be on next Monday night because of Thanksgiving week.
Yes, sir.
So there'll be a lot of folks doing things. But we've got a couple of special guests tonight that, believe it or not, even though football season's not over, we're already into basketball season. So we're going to be talking to Jennifer Hoffman, coach of the Lady Hippos basketball team, and Coach Gant Caraway of the Boys Hippos. If he makes his way over here, we're thinking he might not realize that Rio Grande changed locations. He might be over at the other place. No,
we better drop him a pin so he knows where to get to us.
We might. No, I'm sure sure he will be here. Well, Hippos lost a tough one last Friday night to a very good Vandegrift team. I mean, I'd say probably one of the better teams in Central Texas at all levels. Fall to 3-4 on the year, 2-3 in district play, but all hope is not lost, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. There's still a chance for playoffs, certainly if the Hippos take care of business. But going into that ball game, I think you knew Vandegrift had certainly kind of elevated themselves and had already, up to that point had proven to be, I think no question the best team in District 25 6A. Their only loss coming into that had been to a Cedar Park team that might be the best 5A team in the state of Texas right now. And they lost that one, I think, 21-7, so a close game. But, coming in, I think the scouting report, obviously we had talked about it. They were good quarterback, some good receivers, strong defensively, just really kind of a solid team, all the way around. In fact, Ryan and I talked about it during the game, how they really reminded us of Cedar Park in a lot of ways, just kind of everything about their program, the way they play, the black uniforms, they just kind of had that look. But I think, and you had talked about it, it was critical to try to get off to a good start against them. And I feel like, obviously they got the ball and we had the touchdown Tommy event, and that was really cool. And I want to talk about that here in just a second too. But, after that, you start playing for real, and about 3 plays later, they break a long one for a touchdown, a little shorter than Tommy's run, but go up 7-0. And the Hippos were driving the ball on our very first possession, moving down, and we're kind of like, you know what? I think we can play with these guys. And got down, I think, in the red zone, 19 or 18-yard line, and then had one big penalty, that crackback block that ends up pushing us back even out of field goal range. And we come up scoreless at that point. It's like, man, that was an opportunity lost. Kind of play out the first quarter, and really Hippos were competitive in the first quarter. And really Hippos were competitive for the game minus 1 quarter, right? If we could have only picked 3 quarters that we could have played, would have come out probably ahead or really tight. But that second quarter just kind of got away from us, and things really snowballed.
Yeah, just the momentum of that second quarter. 31 points, that'll do that to you going into half. But, our kids played out that second half, and, they didn't score. And, if you didn't look at the scoreboard, you wouldn't know which team was ahead in the second half. But against a good team like that, they just don't give up the big plays. They play sound. They have good angles to the ball. They tackle well. They know their assignments. They don't let receivers loose. A misassignment here, a misassignment there with, maybe offensive line or the running back not hitting the hole. We did have a couple key drop balls that hurt a couple drives there. But if we get in and, maybe get a field goal right away and gain some momentum, against their good defense. But, we got push. If we weren't behind the chains and were able to run the ball, and they had to do blitzing to stop our run. They weren't just going to sit there and put a hat on a hat and play against us all night up front. So we gained some confidence there with Kyron, and he did a good job running downhill there. And, of course, we saw, a couple different quarterbacks, of course, playing those 2 guys that have earned their playing time and done a good job through practice this week. And just the biggest thing when you're playing against those teams is the matchup, and it's the play after play after play that you have to be that good and that sound against how good they are. And then, of course, we did get the big play in our scoring drive in the second half. We just didn't find those in the first half when it was available.
Right. I noticed Gant was trying to call you just like he tried to call me.
You want to put him on the air?
We're not hey, Brandon, do you have Gant Caraway's phone number? Will you call him? He just tried to call both of us. Tell him that we're on the air and we're waiting for him.
We're a little busy right now. We can't answer.
Way to go, Caraway.
Yeah, I mean, even that the first quarter, when that played out, I remember Ryan. I think as Ryan said, if you didn't look at the scoreboard, in the first quarter it was still tight, but if you didn't look at the scoreboard, you'd feel like Hippos were probably ahead. Hippos, I think we outplayed them in that first quarter. And then, we had that second quarter. I know they had a drive, and it was still, I think, fairly early in the second quarter when the game was still, kind of in the balance that they had gotten down. I think they were in the red zone, and they are close to it, and they had, I think, a 3rd down and 5, and I think we had an offsides penalty that gave them an automatic first down, and that was just one of those gut punches and backbreakers, right? Because it's like you had a chance. Our defense, who had been really playing pretty decent, had a chance to get a stop, force a field goal attempt, which their field goal kicker is solid.
Wow.
That kid's going to be playing somewhere big time, I'm pretty sure.
For strong leg.
Holy cow. Yeah, he kicked one that we're pretty sure would have been good from probably 60. Not lying. But I think that, that was just one of those, and it seems like that's happened a few times this year, particularly in the games we've lost, that there's been those one or two little mistakes, and it's amazing how just a couple of those can just change everything. And like you said, just change momentum, right?
It is, and we've been on the wrong side of those. So, when we put those three, and I say win, because we've got our 2 games to do it, but we've got to put all 3 phases. And, if we're at the 48 and it's 4th and 10 and we choose to kick that coffin corner one, we've got to put that down there. You have to do that against good teams. When you kick it at the 22 or you jump off sides, those are things that, really impact not only yourself and your momentum, but it can breathe life into that other team. And, the special teams one where it's field position, it's points. When it's 3rd and 5, when it's 4th and 2, those are all points plays. The other ones are when we get put in 1st and long. We had a high-low there that when we had crossed the 50, that put us back in the chains. And, those are big plays that we need to cut out of our arsenal. Those aren't the ones we want to have in the arsenal.
Well, and then just finding ourselves probably way too many times in 3rd and long situations. I know as a coach, I mean, you love the 3rd and 2s, even 3rd and 3s, but the 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9s and 3rd and 15s, those are hard to overcome consistently.
Well, and, one of the things that, we haven't, I guess seen consistently is us playing 9 plays in a row. Can we make that drive? 9. A lot. Some of our drives have been we've had the big play, the 18-yard, the 25-yard. Can we do the 3 yards, the 4, the 7, the 2, and keep those chains moving and be consistent? And that's tough naturally, but when you have a good gifted ball club like the Vipers, it makes it tough. And they scouted us well, and they timed blitzes. Again, the game between it's that chess match between a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator. And there's a couple times just on the sideline. Well, if I would have called that one play sooner, on both sides of the ball, that's how it happens.
Right.
They're coached very well too, and we just need our kids to keep believing in themselves. But by and large, that game was a game of mistakes. When you go back and watch the film. It's the little things. Somebody should have been lined up here, but they were moved over here. For what reason? I don't know. We practice it every single day, and we do it good in practice. And those need to stop. And our guys know that. They have so much pride in all the work that they do throughout the course of the week.
Well, and I would say you look at the Hippos' 3 losses, right? I mean, Vandergrift, Round Rock, and Vista Ridge. And all three of those games, especially the Vista Ridge and Round Rock game, but all three of them, I mean, if you could take away 5 plays from each game, mistakes or a big play that they made, whatever. I mean, those are games that the Hippos either win or, I think certainly Round Rock and Vista Ridge probably games they win, and Vandergrift one that certainly push them to the edge.
Right.
But as a coach, and Jennifer probably can attest to this, even as a basketball coach, momentum's a crazy thing, isn't it? And for you guys as coaches, it's probably such a helpless feeling when you're standing on the sidelines and just things start snowballing, going against you the wrong way, and you're like, man, you can only call so many timeouts, right? And you can only give so many pep talks, and it's crazy how that happens in sports.
Yeah, basketball, they get like 24 timeouts for a game, don't they?
Like it. Plus all their TV timeouts.
Me?
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah.
Now, momentum is huge, and that's at any level. I mean, you can watch it on, pro basketball, pro football, all those. Okay, so then now you're taking high school-aged athletes that we work with, and it's even bigger. They're an emotional bunch, and even just talking to our kids, as coaches, we have a lot of pride. We want our kids to succeed. We want to see them do well. Jen's going to take her group, and she's going to have her guards and her forwards and her centers, and she's going to look at those, young ladies at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. And she's going to judge herself probably not by, wins and losses, because you're going to win on some days you played like junk.
All right.
And you're going to lose on days you played really, really well.
Yeah.
But as a coach, whether it's an offensive line, whether it's basketball position groups, your wide receiver coach, how good is that group progressing throughout the course of the season?
Right.
You can look at record all you want, or how we're 4-0. Okay, we played 4 terrible teams. Are we getting better? That's really what it's all about, and what we're trying to do. And there are so many things that we have been better in. We've also seen a lot of different lineups. Kids having to move positions from backer to a defensive end, from a forefront to a 3-front, from a slot receiver to an outside receiver, to playing a freshman quarterback, to different scenarios. That there's been a lot of fun in that varsity locker room this year. Let me tell you, all the things we've gone through in 2020. But you know what? Our kids still showed up on Monday morning, and they had a fantastic practice today.
And that's what they talk about, adversity and kids growing and learning, and obviously, sports is more than just about sports, right? And it's developing character and developing life skills and things like that. And it's things like that kids learn how to deal with later on in life through some of those adversities. Hey, welcome to the show, Gant.
Yeah.
Coach Caraway.
Hey, buddy.
I went to the wrong spot.
Yeah, you need to get out more often and figure out you need to see all the growth in Hutto. Yeah, drive around a little bit.
Yeah, I went to the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Well, I actually went to not this restaurant where it used to be, but another restaurant. I thought.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, like where we did it like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's been Monday for everybody on 2020.
Yeah.
Hey, so back to the momentum thing, and you're on the sidelines, and there's just so much you can do. But what do you tell your kids? Like when that's happening and that snowball's rolling downhill there in that second quarter, what are you saying?
Well, first of all, you got to be the example. You know, if we're going to go ahead and have a pity party, they're certainly going to have one. We're going to just keep on coaching. That game was not going to define us for a season, and that was not make or break it for the playoffs. And the fact that we have a young team, we're still trying to get better. The heck with the scoreboard. I don't care what the score is. We better be playing just as hard. And that's probably one of the biggest compliments that our kids got was if somebody showed up late for the game or tuned in online to the second half and didn't know the score, you wouldn't know by how hard two teams were playing. So that's the biggest compliment I can give our coaching staff and players.
And I saw that
did that.
You got a really nice email from a guy who and I think he wasn't even a Vandergrift fan, if I'm remembering right, that said he was very impressed at the effort that the Hippos were given right up until the very end. So what was the message at halftime? You go in and you're down 38-0 at halftime, and what is that message? Is that message let's win the second half, or is it? I mean, realistically, you're not going to come out and win the game, but
hey, they scored 38. Why can't we?
Well, I understand. But what's the message? What's the real message? Like, let's win the second half. Let's keep competing. And
well, in situations like that, we'll always send a couple coaches in just to kind of do a little temperature check before we go ahead and meet as a staff to talk about injuries, and then we break up defensively and offensively to make some halftime adjustments or personnel things. And the temperature of our kids was really just disappointment.
Yeah.
I think they know they're capable of more. They wanted to play better. They wanted to be that team that everybody's been talking about. Everybody's talking about our speed and how hard our kids played ever since, last February, coming into 25-6A. And I think they know they're capable of it. But for them, it's a matter of when are all three phases going to come together and have that awesome marriage. And we're just going to put that game together, because they say it too. They see it on film. They see the spectacular plays our kids have made in a game before or do every day in practice. But you can't duplicate Friday night. You just can't. However hard you try, and I know the neighbors would love us to crank the music a little bit more at 6:30 in the morning by Hutto Memorial Stadium. You can't duplicate that.
Right.
And sometimes you just got to get locked in, and the game is eventually going to come to you. And for us four, it may be at different points of the season. And just like we talked at the beginning of the year, I was talking to a college recruit that called today, and I just want to know how we're doing. And you guys are really young by looking at our recruiting list and different things. And I said, well, we really have 3 or 4 guys, again, that have played back-to-back years.
Right.
So when Jen's a sophomore and I'm a senior and I've been playing the same position for 2 or 3 years and I've been through 20 or 30 games, sorry, Jen, I'm going to dominate you on a Friday night. It's just no matter how talented, Jen is, I have that advantage with you can't take that experience away.
Sure.
That there are certain times that one scenario hasn't happened to that kid yet. But now when it comes again, he's going to be just fine.
One of the things that and I know we've talked about it some too. I mean, you've got obviously great athletes on our football team, and you see things in practice. And I think, and I'm not picking on any one kid at all, but the drops, and some of them are really short passes that we're just not holding on to. And again, those are the things that then set up the 2nd and 10 or the third and 10 and whatever. But is it a concentration thing? We joked after we played that afternoon game, a couple of weeks ago, and said, man, let's play every game in the daylight because we catch everything in the daylight. But under the lights, I don't know. Is it a focus thing? Is it that contagious thing? Because guys seem like drops can be contagious, just like missed shots in basketball seem like they can be contagious. But good shots and positive things can be contagious too.
Well, it's all about the momentum that you're talking about. And even, if you talk about a route, okay, what can affect the route? Somebody's jamming you right away. The linebacker cuts you off. Your route has to be redirected. You're going across the middle, the umpire gets in your way. Defensive line, hand goes up, it gets tipped. You don't see the ball coming out from the quarterback because the wall is in front of you and your view is cloudy. Yeah. There are so many factors that could go into that. But bottom line is, if it hits your hands, we'd certainly love to think that guys at our level would be catching that ball. But, there's so many things that can come into it. And unfortunately, we have had too many of those go on this year.
Yeah. Well, and I think we're going to see a game that it's all going to start coming together, and hopefully that's this Friday night. Yes. And all those guys, once they start catching, they're all catching, and it'll end up being a good result. All right, before we finish up talking about Vandegrift, obviously let's go back to the beginning and touchdown Tommy Hartman, and just that story all week and how awesome that was, and the build up. And I kept showing you during the week that the post we made on our Facebook, not our district Facebook page, but the Hutto Hippos athletic Facebook page, that thing was up to I think 200,000 people that had been reached through that post and shares and all that. And that story ended up getting picked up. I think you probably saw there's a clip on Good Morning America about it. Yeah, so the Hippos were on Good Morning America. So, but how neat was that to I guess keep things in perspective and let kids and everybody else know high school football is important in Texas, but there's some things that are bigger than the game, right?
No, it is, and that's why it's not just a game. It's an event, and how you can draw people to that event, or, how many people probably saw that maybe aren't sports fans, maybe aren't football fans, but some way or another we're touched by it. And, even Coach Sanders and I, our relationship probably as enemies for, 4 quarters, our relationship grew, even during the course of the week. He kind of asked, so why did you say yes? And of course I sent a picture of a dude that's pretty special to me back home that has Down syndrome, and, kind of told him, we shared some family stories, and, of course everybody that's reached out, and it's been great.
Yeah.
Has been really good, but it's good for our players too. Heck, it's good for us as grown adults, to see that, and anytime you can provide that, that's what sports should. If you can't show up and have fun and get better as an athlete, and pick on your coaches and have fun together, why are you doing that at practice and being a part of the team? But it was really good to see some of our people, school district, out of school district, in the community, our own players, even just, regular student walking down the hall, have conversations or be at the game or say something about it that, I guess for me, anything that I've wanted to do, I can put my mind to it and do it, whether it's sports or school or, jobs or opportunities, where this young man could not do that. So the fact that their team thought so much of him to do that, to meet him pregame. I mean, first of all,
he's a big boy.
He's a big old rascal.
He is.
He came walking out there, and Coach Sanders introduced me to him, and and he kind of looked me up and down. Oh, he was 2-3 inches, and
he was a big
not
boy.
the shoulders or chest. Not the shoulders or chest, Jen, but he was taller for sure. But just to see him look up and down the sideline, Coach, who's injured this week?
Oh.
And he had the scouting report, and he knows football.
That's
He knows football, and we talked a little bit because Coach Sanders had mentioned that the Detroit Lions is his team. And I said, I'm originally from Minnesota, and I like to wear purple for those Vikings. The look he gave me, and it was a great, 5 to 7 minute conversation.
Awesome.
But you could just tell that's going to stay with him
forever
for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, and again, you play, years of high school career, and then you go on through life, and those memories fade, right, of games that you played and specific details. But those players, for the Hippos and for the Vipers, they should always remember, man, first play of the game against Vandegrift in 2020, and let me tell you, it wasn't about football. It was about football, but it was about really warming a kid's heart and doing something right. So
yes, sir.
It was neat. It was neat that we and obviously we were a part of that because you said yes to it, and you knew how important it is, and you understand the big picture of stuff. So thank you for saying yes, and thank you for putting the Hippos in a position that we could all kind of live a little bit through that. But yeah, what a cool thing for touchdown Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Man, I made a dramatic call on that too.
I better go watch the replay.
You should, absolutely. I might have been a little more excited saying touchdown Tommy than I have ever been for touchdown Hippos, but no, it was awesome. Well, we'll come back to football here in just a little bit. Talk about a little bit about Cedar Ridge coming up, and then obviously, the importance of the next 2 games. But I mentioned early on, it's already basketball season, which is kind of crazy.
Yes,
I mean, with football, normally this past Friday would have been the first round of the playoffs in football, and it was for the 1A through 4A schools. But the 5A and 6A still have 2 or 3 weeks left. But basketball has rolled out, and we've got Jen Hoffman, who's the head coach of the Lady Hippos, and Gant Caraway, coach of the boys. And Gant, you obviously last year had probably the best basketball team in the history of Hutto, I dare say. I mean, in terms of the athletes and the way you guys played. I think you finished 35-4, 33-4, something like that.
It was 34-4.
Yeah,
we just had great leadership, with Pierre and Xavier Patterson. Things just came together.
Yeah, it was a magical run. And then you ran up against a tough team out of the Conroe area that just, unfortunately, we talk about momentum and talk about how the contagious of good things and contagious of bad games, and you just happen to have that one game where the threes just wouldn't fall.
No,
and,
you know, some of our key guys, you know, went 0 for 13 that night.
Yeah.
You know?
But you return a lot of those guys, and I think you have high hopes for this season as well.
I do. I think the one thing we're missing right now is the chemistry, and then we're missing that leader. You know, last year, you know, Pierre was a 4-year starter, you know, and he led the team. Now we're trying to figure out, you know, some of those young guys are trying to step up, you know, and, you know, we're just trying to do what we can with those young guys to get them the confidence to be vocal, you know, because some of those kids they're really great kids, but they're really quiet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
Jen, for you guys, y'all first round of the playoffs, made it to the playoffs, lost in the first round to a very good Cedar Park team.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what you returned this year. Did you lose a lot of your kids? I feel like you did. Didn't you? Shamba, you lost.
I lost Shamba, who had scored over 1,200 career points. So
yeah,
that was definitely a big loss. And I lost, you know, a great leader. And so kind of like Gant, we're in that same position where we're young. I've got 4 seniors, but, you know, I've got a lot of young kids playing, and they're all very quiet. And so we're trying to, you know, get them to understand the importance of being vocal. And, you know, you can be a freshman and still be a great leader. So that's what I'm trying to help them understand. But I've got 4 seniors this year, and there's a couple of them that are doing a great job as far as leading on the court. And, you know, one of them is out right now for a couple weeks, but that's hurting us a little bit. But she'll be back soon, and it'll be good.
Did they reduce the schedule any because of COVID?
Yes, so they took away our tournaments.
That's right. Yeah, that's a big deal, right?
That is a
because
big
you
deal.
guys as basketball teams early in a season getting to play consecutive games on, you know, over 2 or 3 days.
That's losing. We probably lost 12 to
Yeah.
13 games,
right.
which hurts. Yes.
And you also lose that chemistry
Right.
building and that character building because, you know, when you spend the night with each other,
Yep.
you know, you develop a bond.
Right.
You know, I think that's what happened last year when we went to San Antonio. We played Cole, and then we turned around that Saturday and played one of those Burn It or something like that.
Right.
And we spent the night JV and varsity and did some team building, and it seemed like that did it for us last year.
Yeah.
You know, and this year we don't have
Obviously,
that.
you cannot do that this year.
Yeah.
And I think not only the chemistry thing, but y'all as coaches, it takes a little bit of away from y'all being able to scout your own team and kind of
Right.
figure out who are our players, who are our guys, who are the ones that are going to step up when they're tired.
Right.
Because, you know,
Right.
you play a tournament and a bunch of games. You have ones that get fatigued, and you got people that play through that, and you probably notice, hey, that's the one I want on the court, you know,
Right.
when they're tired and it's crunch time. That's the one I want shooting free throws.
Well,
or
and you
whatever.
try to, you know, at tournaments is a great time to put different combinations together
Right.
on the court, and, you know, we didn't have that. So that makes it tough.
And those games, even though you want to win, because you want to win every game, they don't matter in wins and losses, and the tournaments don't matter in terms of playoffs and district play and all that. I know you want to win and you want to develop that winning attitude. That's important. But what are some besides taking away tournament games? What are some other effects you're feeling early on, just of the whole COVID factor that we have to run everything through the COVID filter now, right?
Right.
Like I don't know about y'all, but y'all are playing with masks on.
Well, we do, and I mean,
That's got to be hard.
well, you know, up to this point, the girls haven't really complained,
Really?
and you know, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
You just have to adapt and move forward. But yeah, it's weird because everybody has to have their own water bottle. Everybody has to have their own towel, you know, and it's different going to, you know, away games because sometimes we won't have a locker room, or, you know, there's just so many different things that you got to think about that we haven't before.
Your teams may not be able to stay and support because the
Right.
parent may want to take
Right.
the athlete home, or even for
Yeah.
you as the coach, you may decide that
And
they go home.
And the boys we have decided, I mean, as soon as they play, then they go. They're leaving.
Right.
So with that, there's not a big crowd.
Right.
Not a big crowd. We're going to go play Lake Travis on December 12th, I think. No visitors allowed.
Is that right? None?
None.
Not even parents?
Nobody.
Just an empty gym?
Well, their parents can come.
They're okay. Home crowd.
Crowd.
But no visiting crowd.
Yeah, and it depends on the gym capacity. Hutto's gym is small. I think 180 kids, 180 people per side.
Mm-hmm.
But the Vista Ridges and the Vandy's, they are, first come, first serve type thing.
Oh, and then they'll clear the gym out after each game.
Yep.
Clear it out. So
So the other thing is the officials.
Yeah.
There have been so many assignments changed already.
Right.
yeah.
I get both the emails of the assignments, or you see they're unassigned.
Right.
Yep.
It comes
So
right. Yeah, it comes
we're,
right.
we're down officials. You want
Yeah.
to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, because most of the officials are football officials too.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the playoffs, especially 5 and 6A, like I said before, they're still, got 3 weeks left. And so those crews are still there. And so, we've had to reduce. We don't have a B team this year because we have to play in one gym, and they only going to send 5 officials when it's all said.
Talking freshman now, freshman B team.
Freshman B team.
Right.
Yeah, so they were sending 5 officials, so that hinders us a little
Sure.
bit. So it's been challenging, especially with a program, Jen's program, my program, Round Rocks, whoever. We've really built it up to have those teams, and this
Yeah.
year we can't have those teams. That hurts.
Well, and I guess from a coaching perspective, instead of focusing entirely on the game and strategy and your rotations and all that, you're also having to wait a second, you need to put your mask on, or you
Yes.
need to
Yes.
don't share that towel or scoot away from each other. I mean, the
yeah.
things you shouldn't have to be
Right.
policing, and you're having to police, right?
Well, and even, checking your teams in the stands. Hey, go tell them they need to spread apart.
Yeah.
Or,
It's just distracting, right?
Yeah, the whole concept, everything that's going on right now.
And they can't shake hands with the other team, or they can't, fist bump the other coach when they foul out. So it's, it takes away that part, which.
Well, then let's talk about added communication, because you're waiting for your visitor when you're on the road to send you their protocols. Your parents are always asking every day what's going on.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It might not come when you expect it. Then you have a home game. You have to send it out to the visitor.
Yep.
And sometimes the visitor parents won't wait for you. They contact us. And then the ticket link doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah. I just got today. I play Georgetown tomorrow. We just got the link today.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and I will say, Hutto ISD has done a great job on that, because there's been several schools that we've played where I email them, hey, what are y'all doing with your tickets? Well, I don't know. Let me get back with you on that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we're just going to sell tickets at the door. So it's kind of nice that we have it all mapped out.
Because you got a guy
That's
that
right.
is over the top,
Over the top.
organized, and
That's Michelle. We
Yep.
all know that.
Well, I think
But we
it's-
do have it organized.
We've all
Even for
been-
me, I send it out 10 days before the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Wednesday before the following Friday, I'm able to get that to it, and they'll create the same thing for all of our sports.
Well, we've got all of our, at least the home game ticket links already on our website. I mean, we've coordinated it pretty well, I feel like, but obviously not perfect. And yeah, I know we're all ready for 2020 to be done and just move on to back to the world of non-COVID
Right.
and
Yeah.
everything. Like I said, everything runs through the filter of COVID.
And now you can put on your mask before you chew on the official, Jen. How's that going to go?
It's tough. But they hear me, I
Yeah.
promise you.
I don't know what the girls are doing, but we have to put out. Referees want 3 balls, and so you have to put out a ball for first quarter, second quarter, and then you have to clean those balls and put that ball out. Yeah, stuff like that.
Well, I have a separate rack for the
weird.
visiting team, and
Yeah.
and then you squirt the seats down, and it's just.
It's
But yet, once the game starts, you're playing. Everybody's touching the same
Right.
ball. You're
Right.
playing with the same basketball, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, I know.
some things don't make sense.
Crazy.
Well, back to your back to a little bit of scouting report on your teams. Jen, first, and both of you talk about the difference of moving from 5A to 6A, and I know in football that's a bigger deal than probably basketball, but how much difference do you see in the district that we're in now, the 6A district, and the challenges of playing 6A ball?
Well, I think it's going to be very challenging because, our district, there's a couple teams that are state ranked.
Yeah.
And we're last year. So, I think it is going to be huge. And, we're just preparing for it, and we're going to play them just like we would anybody. But, it's a different level, that's for sure.
Yeah. What about
Well,
from your perspective?
I think that if we gel and our chemistry works the way it should, I think that we'll win district this year.
Yeah.
Because
Look at you.
we lost Pierre and Patterson and Hill. All three of those guys are playing college ball right now.
Right.
But the Caden Smarts, the Bedfords, Richardsons. We have a pretty good little team right now. And it's just that right now we're waiting on Brody to come.
Yeah.
We have a kid out right now because there was a death in his community, and so we're waiting on him. So I feel real confident about our team. This was a great year for us to move up. Vandy, Greg Browns are gone. Round Rocks, those kids are gone. And so now, when we walk in the gym, we look like those 6A teams.
Sure.
So I'm pretty excited about what we have.
The biggest thing might be depth.
Yeah, that's
With foul trouble, or
COVID.
if you do get somebody through contact tracing out, you're going to need 8, 9, and 10 people at 6A to play, huh?
Yeah, and that's what we have right now. We got some backups. We got Hicks, a kid, Zachary Hicks, a freshman, can play, and then the freshman team is really talented. There's a couple of kids on there that if we had to, we could bump them up to JV and move some of those JV kids up because they're pretty talented.
How much are you able to draw from last year's success, having a team that was 34-4, and just went out every night and winning constantly and built that positive attitude? Are you able to still kind of draw from that and say, hey, this is what we did last year, and there's no reason we can't do that again? Oh,
yes, sir. We've the kids, we've played 2 games so far. We played Southside San Antonio, won 95-32, and then we came in the other night against Harker Heights, and I think we had them 23-7 at the end of the first quarter, and it was because of things that we know how to do and that we do pretty well. Just that the depth got us against Harker Heights.
Yeah.
We kind of had to stop pressing, and kids' legs started to leave. But what Pierre and Patterson and Hill did last year for us, these kids are stepping up and doing it. Again, they're young. They're young. We'll start. When it's all said and done with, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, and a senior.
You can play the same kind of game you did last year, your constant press and up and down and really and shooting the 3 ball a lot?
Yes, sir. Yeah. In fact, we've changed a little bit. We put more pressure on the thirds now. We're not trying to let them go middle. We're trying to pin, take charges, trying to force them into that, we call it the 6 spot, short corner area.
Uh-huh.
That's what we're trying to do now. And it's working pretty well. The only thing is that we do get in foul trouble right now.
Right. Yeah.
But I think by the time district starts, I think we'll be rocking. I really do.
That'll be, and district starts pretty early, doesn't it?
For the girls, it starts really early.
Yes.
For the boys, I think
weeks.
our first game is that second round of playoffs, football playoffs.
Yeah, like early December.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like the 15th.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was starting. It seemed earlier than normal.
Yeah. Well, with football moving back and everything.
Yeah, it's just kind of throwing everything into.
Yeah. Coach LaPlante's done really well letting us. We've already tried out the freshmen and JV kids and varsity kids, ones that want to play, and we've worked out a plan so that those kids can start. Even when football's going on. So we worked out a plan for those kids, and so I'm excited. Football's not going to affect us like it affects some schools.
Sure. Jen, what about what's going to be your style this year? You hang your hat on defense?
Well, I'm excited because I've got some shooters.
Yeah.
And I haven't had that in the past. I have a freshman point guard, a true point guard.
I like her.
I haven't had that.
Yeah, I like her.
I haven't had that. I mean, she knows the game of basketball.
Yeah, that's fine.
She's very quiet, but she is a leader. I mean, she knows the game. So I feel very confident in that. But, no, we have some threats outside, and we also have some bigs, which we haven't had a lot of height at all.
Right.
So, but we do run the ball. I love that. We've got to push the ball, and we're really emphasizing on the ball pressure defense because that's just defense wins games.
Absolutely.
And so we're really going to be baseline to baseline pressing and but yeah, we're looking to shoot the outside shot, which we haven't been able to.
Do you ever challenge your girls to any shooting contests?
Well,
Can you still shoot it like you did at Baylor?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
Oh yeah.
Well, it wasn't all that long ago.
Muscle
Didn't
memory.
you still have the 3-point record at Baylor for a while?
I did till
Yeah.
about 4 years ago, I think.
Baylor got pretty good.
Odyssey
a few
Sims.
years ago.
Odyssey
Is
Sims.
she the one that broke your record?
She broke my record.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Go
send
back
her?
and watch every one of her game tapes to make
I
sure
know.
those statistics
I
were
need to
legit.
go back and count. I think she beat me by about 20-something
Yeah.
threes.
Did you send her a congratulations
I did, actually.
email?
I
Did you really?
Yes,
Yeah?
I did. Yep. It was pretty exciting for her.
And she was like, it felt good.
She probably was like,
to
"Who is this
to break the
Jennifer?"
record of the legendary Jennifer King.
Yep.
No, yeah, King.
She probably was like, "Who is this Jennifer
Yeah.
King?" I mean, it's been 20-something years.
You had to play against Cheryl Swoops back in
I
your day.
guarded Cheryl Swoops. Best basketball player I ever played against.
Oh, without doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she
Oh,
was.
yeah.
But you
Texas
probably shut her
Tech,
down,
wreck
right?
'em.
That's right. You
You
shut
know
her
what?
down.
She was the only girl I played against that could shoot a true jump shot behind the three-point line.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how do you defend that when she's 6 foot and she's jumping up, hanging in the air for a second, and then shoots it?
Anybody that scores 45 points in the national championship
Oh,
game
yeah.
is pretty special.
She was good.
And has a shoe, an Air Jordan shoe named after
Oh, yeah.
Air Swoops. Yeah.
But she only scored 6 against you, is that what you said?
I think it was maybe 5.
No, yeah. Do you get out there and shoot with the girls still?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I love basketball.
Yep.
I wish today Coach Guerrero and I were talking, and she was like, "Man, I wish I could get out here." I said, "Oh, if I could get out here and play just one more game."
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, let's
love
be
it.
clear. You don't love basketball. I mean, you love basketball. You
I
love
love winning.
competition.
Yes, I do.
You love
Ask
competition.
my little sister over there. She knows.
I played with you on the golf course. I know also.
I hate to lose.
Yes. At anything.
Yes, that is correct.
Is she Brandon, is she the family competitor in cards and board games? and
Dominoes,
anything?
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
I'm not a good loser.
That's all right. That's why you're a good coach. That's why you're a good coach. Well, we look forward to watching the Hippos on the court soon and very soon. And I know we're going to do whatever we can to also try to broadcast some of the games just like we do the football games. And I know I've talked a little bit to Gant and Jen, I'll talk to you too offline. But, yeah, we want to figure out how we can live stream some of the games because obviously we know the limitations on fans is going to hurt everybody. So, but, yeah, we'll get the Lady Hippos and the Hippos on air and watch. And good luck in your seasons.
Thank you.
And not only that, but dealing with all the filters of COVID through everything.
Yep.
So we'll all go through it together.
Yep.
We're all better together. Right. So, all right, Brad, let's talk a little bit about Cedar Ridge coming up. First of all, I guess we mentioned the playoffs. Playoffs really start this Friday. You have to win the next 2 games,
Yes.
right?
They're sitting at, 4-3 overall, 3-2 and 25 6As. So if we did not play another game, they would be in the playoffs.
Right.
We need to beat them and match that and get the tiebreaker.
And then beat Westwood.
Yes.
Yeah, win the next 2 and we're in.
Yes, sir.
I think it's as easy as that.
Way good.
Stub our toe in one of them and we're out.
Well, you like to have control in your hands, and we do. So that's good. And I think we match up well against both teams. But, Cedar Ridge will match up well against them and kind kind of defensive. They're going to be a 4-front or a 3-front. I don't know if they're going to pack the box and bring some blitz against us, or because we've stubbed our toe a few things, if they're just going to sit back and make us drive the length of the field and be a bend but don't break kind of defense there. Is going to be the chess match come Friday night, and we're going to have to stop the run against them with our defensive line and linebacking core. They have 2 good running backs, not big in size or stature, but they run their feet on contact. There's some different numbers out on one of them. The one kid might only be 140 pounds.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, you give him a little crease and he's got it, and he will keep on running and running and running his feet. And small target.
We had one of those a couple of years ago in Chooks, right? That was pretty hard to stop.
Well, and we went against him in practice every day, and then we had Makai Kimball as well. So that's why guys like this scare me. We got to do a good job and keep him in a phone booth and keep him locked up. And they're not going to throw the ball every down, but their quarterback manages it very well. He makes very sound decisions. Those little guys hide behind their offensive line. They'll slip a guy out in the flats. And, jersey old number 4, we're going to have to look out for on the edge, because when it's time to throw one and take a shot down the field, we need to be ready for him. So, we watched them early in the year, and they've kind of been up and down a little bit, maybe. No disrespect to that, but we saw them live against Round Rock, and we've got a lot of respect for Round Rock. Of course, Round Rock beat Vista Ridge the other night, but Cedar Ridge beat Round Rock 20-18 over at the Palace there. Might have been district week number 1 or number 2.
Yeah.
And so they're very well capable and a good, formidable opponent. I'm glad we're playing at home.
At home, yeah.
I know they're a closer proximity than Vandergrift. So when you talk to our kids in the locker room, they know some names over there, not just by looking at Max Preps or Twitter. They know these kids. They've played against them, and Pee Wee Ball and Pop Warner and all that. So
well, they've had a pretty good run the last few years, and seems like have been pretty prolific offensively, and kind of like a lot of, I guess, spread type teams, score a lot of points, but then can give up a number 2. So
well, I think maybe one of their big questions was, they lost Deuce Vaughn. Last year he was playing in Kansas right now and having a fantastic freshman year. Who is his replacement going to be?
Right.
They found 2 of them that are doing a pretty good job right now. So, we're going to have to run the ball, and we certainly need to stop the run against them. We've got to stop the turnovers. We've got to flip the field. If we're not going to score, we've got to flip the field and pin them, because, our defense, when you take a look at the course of the last few weeks, and really this season, you take the College Station game out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically, we've been very good.
Absolutely.
The points that have been put on the board, whether it's 7 or just holding them to a field goal, a lot of time it's 40 yards or less that they're defending, and that's tough. That's a defense's worst nightmare. So, hats off to the defensive staff and our kids, for playing and just, bowing their necks when they could give up 7, and that's keeping us in the game and getting a field goal only scored upon them instead. But they don't need to own all those points this year, and I think we match up well with their offense this week.
Well, and we say it every week, but I think got to get off to a good start. Not getting the hole early like we've done a couple of times, and build that momentum that we're talking about. Right. And have you mentioned, you maybe hadn't even thought about this, to the kids that this will be the last game ever played in Hutto Memorial Stadium as that stadium exists right now. Be a whole new place next year.
We've planted the seed a little bit with the seniors and mentioned that on Saturday. I think at that time they're still disappointed with Friday night, so they may not have heard all that. But we want to go out in great fashion, give our home crowd something that they may look back and say, "Where's this been all year?" But we need it Friday night, and our kids are going to give it.
Are y'all? Are you talking in terms of this being a playoff game and letting the kids know, hey, this? I mean, we're kind of at that point, right? I mean,
it is
do or die.
It is. That's where the media guys, like you radio guys, that like to stir the pot with that. Every game has been important. College Station is not any more important than this. Why do we even play it if it wasn't important? Coach, that's the coach in me. saying that to you media guys, but it's
guys.
It's important and it's fun. But you know what? That's every game. Last game was important. This game's gonna. You only get so many games. I mean, look at how many playoff teams are advancing in 2, 3, and 4A because the other team can't play.
Yeah, it's true.
So we've got a game. We need to prepare for it, and it's got to be serious because our kids have put in so much into this season, and of course we've been to the playoffs.
The last time the
2013 was the last year we didn't.
Ryan Robinson's senior year was the last year the Hippos didn't make the playoffs.
So if you're a competitor, you don't want to be labeled
right
along with the
Ryan
last team
Robinson.
that maybe didn't. No disrespect, Ryan.
Ryan's
That's
he
awful.
texting us.
Ryan's
yes.
normally
Ryan.
here. That's right.
Poor Ryan.
They don't want to be that team. I mean, it would be for all the things that our kids and our staff have gone through since June 8th. I guess that Monday we started strength camp. It's been a long time coming, but they just need to know that all that hard work is, and it is going into something. I mean, it's worth it. But God, they deserve better, and that's why we're going to coach the heck out of them. We think we've got a great game plan for this week against the Fine Ball Club,
and win this one Friday night, and then the one next Friday really becomes big.
Yes.
Because then that's the one to get into the playoffs.
It is. Yes, sir.
Well, it'll be at obviously 7 o'clock at Hutto Memorial Stadium, and if you can come out, if you can grab a ticket, this will be the last time. Take some pictures because next year the place will look different. It'll look different, and I'll tell you, the early renditions, and I think there's going to be a little more revealed at the board meeting Thursday night, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a neat-looking place. It'll be unique, and it won't look like any other high school stadium, and we're excited. All right, let's quickly do our picks. Ryan not here, so I'll have to get his later, but he's kind of starting to run away from everybody. He only lost. He went undefeated last week, and this week he only lost one. So he's 37-13.
Come on, Ryan.
You and I tied at 31-19, and Gage is 27-13. So Gage has a lot of ground to make up. So we'll do our district picks first. Vista Ridge at Stony Point. Vista Ridge for everybody, I'm guessing.
Vista Ridge.
Yep, across the board. McNeil at Westwood.
Westwood.
Across the board. Vandegrift at Round Rock. Could be interesting. Round Rock.
Vandegrift.
At Round Rock?
Yeah. You're not.
I'm not. I'm getting left out of
Round
this.
Rock?
I don't
Round
know why.
Rock has one of the best offensive lines around.
Absolutely.
Their defense played very well against us too, but 27-24 Vandegrift. How's that?
Okay. You think it'll be that close?
There's a shot.
I think Round Rock's
Two
a
good
good team.
teams.
Gage. You have to pick an upset because you're way behind, so you got to start going out on a limb. All right. I loaded up with some more college games this week because 3 of our college games last week ended up getting canceled with COVID, which I give us all wins whenever that happens. So, yeah. All right.
Cheating.
But the college games, we picked the
Cheater.
college games against the spread, Jen and Gant, just
I got
FYI.
you.
All right. UT at Kansas. UT favored by 29.5. Get this. I saw a thing today. I'm going to look it up real quick. Well, no, I'm not. I'll just tell you. So since 2017, they were showing all the Big 12 teams and their differential against Kansas, and everybody's like, 39, 40, 35 points.
Except
UT's
for Texas.
8.
Yeah.
8 points is the average differential Texas over Kansas in the last. And Texas is favored by 29.5.
God, we're going against the spread on that one. On the road?
Yep.
I'm saying they're going to lose.
KU.
Yeah. I'll take the 29.5 points. Okay. It's a lot of points. Kansas State at Iowa, they're getting into some big 12 games that are possibly for those playoffs. So it's Kansas State at Iowa State. Iowa State's favored by 10.5.
They're tough at home. Iowa State.
Yeah. 10.5's a lot, but I'm going to go Iowa State as well. Same. Gage, you got to start picking some up. Well, I guess you're picking against Ryan, so we don't know what Ryan's picking yet. Oklahoma State at OU. OU favored by 9.5. Bedlam series. You know what? I think OSU will stay within the 9.5. Okay.
I would go with the mullet also.
Yeah. Don't you love that? It's like, at what point is he going to cut that thing?
Mullet.
All right, we'll go with Ryan's texting me, see if he's giving picks. UCLA, I have to give, because of Chase, I'm going to put UCLA on there. Ryan just said I need to make my tip pick, so he's obviously not watching as we're speaking. UCLA at Oregon. Oregon favored by 14.5.
Chase played the other night, huh?
Did he? Did he get in? Did he? He got some game?
Good.
Yeah.
1 rush, 1 yard.
Sunday morning. It was a Sunday morning 9 a.m. game.
Oh.
Yeah. Can you
So
imagine?
not knowing that he's playing, if he's not starting, I have to go with Oregon. It'd
Yeah.
be different if he was.
14.5, Oregon. I'll go with Oregon, at Oregon. Yeah, UCLA. You got the shirt on, too.
Like that, huh?
Okay.
That's cute.
Indiana. Okay, this is Indiana in the Big Ten. They're like the darling of the Big Ten now. Indiana's ranked number 9 in the country. Yes, Indiana at Ohio State.
In football or basketball?
In football. Seriously.
They've been playing well.
They're
What?
legit. Yes. They're number 9 in the country at Ohio State, but Ohio State's favored by 21.5.
Ooh, against that spread, Indiana.
Picking Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll stay within 21.5. Indiana. Okay. Houston at SMU. SMU favored by 3.5. They blew a 24-3
Tulsa?
lead, I think, against Tulsa. Yeah.
They're going to bounce back.
SMU?
Yeah.
I'll go Pony. SMU. Okay. LSU at Arkansas. This was an interesting one. Last year, LSU was favored by 44.5 points last year in that game. This year, Arkansas is favored by 1.5.
What?
Isn't that crazy? Win a national championship and lose your
Arkansas,
entire
I guess.
team. You going to Arkansas?
Well, it's home. I don't know. LSU, man. I'd
Nah,
wait
they're
for
not
them to
very
jump
good.
out of it.
I'm going to go LSU, though.
Did they really lose everybody?
Yeah, oh,
From
yeah.
their
Like everybody.
That's a shame.
Yeah, they're all playing in the NFL now.
You're right.
Oh, well.
And the last one, Ole Miss at A&M. A&M's favored by 13.5 over Lane Kiffin.
It might be real. Let's go with them.
I think they are, too. I've been picking against them, but, yeah, I got to go Aggie.
Gig 'em.
Aggie. Okay. All right, we'll see. I'll get Ryan's picks. I'm not going to tell him who any of our picks are, so hopefully we'll make up some ground on him. No advantage. All right, Friday night, Hippos take on Cedar Ridge at Hutto Memorial Stadium, last home game of the year. Hippos got to get a win, so we need whatever tickets are left. Folks, go out and buy those tickets, show up, cheer on the Hippos. Let's get that win. And then a reminder, we will not be doing a coaches show next Monday night because of Thanksgiving week. So our last show will be the Monday. I'm sorry, our last regular season show.
Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Our last regular season
All right.
show.
Thank you for the correction.
And Lady
sir.
Hippos are at home tomorrow night playing Lady Bulldogs, 5:15, 6:30, and 8 o'clock.
Lady Bulldogs from
Burnett High School.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Lex.
All right.
I'm at Georgetown tomorrow.
Oh, can folks, is Georgetown open to visitors?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Get out and
we put the link on band, so
Okay.
anybody, and we also put it on the website. So
Okay. Yep. So get out and support the Lady Hippos or the Hutto Hippos tomorrow night, basketball, and then let's keep rolling in football for a while longer. All right.
Good comeback.
Yep. For Coach Caraway, for Jennifer Hoffman, Coach LaPlante, Gage Bowles doing the engineering. I'm Todd Robinson. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you Friday night at Hutto Memorial Stadium.